Committee here on December the 17th of 2020 via go-to meeting. The first thing, we have our meeting minutes from the 19th of November of 2020. Everybody have a chance to review them?
I have a change.
Yes.
Just identify who you are and go ahead, because like I said, we can't see everybody, so.
Okay, Jay, this is Lil. I have a change.
Okay,
On the first page at the very top, the date says Thursday, October 22. It should say Thursday, November 19th.
oh, okay,
That's my big crisis.
that's fine. I got the one on the second page and you got the one on the first page.
All right. Okay. You need a motion?
Need a motion for the minutes as amended.
Robert Camus. Yeah. Make a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
Joe Gagnon, a second.
Okay, we have a motion and a seconded. Any further discussion on the minutes for 19th of November of 2020? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Just say your name first so we know who it is, because we can't see everybody.
Robert, I.
Lily and I.
Joan, I.
Jay, aye. So we got unanimous on the ayes for that. Okay, then we'll move on to our long and short-term plan to address ECM findings. As we know, we have a spreadsheet with all the ECM findings that have been opened and then closed, and the ones that are remaining still to be open. The ECMs are approved by the select board for 2020 are currently being done. As far as the open ones, we can look at them. After we get assurance, we can apply for the FY21 grant. And then we can pick the ECMs from that. And then just update our spreadsheet. Now, I will tell you, tomorrow, we're currently scheduled to have a visit from Energy Source and Siemens as far as updating the ECMs, excuse me, for FY21's application. So basically, they're going to look over the ones that we haven't finished yet and see if they see anything new, and then update the Energy Source list so we have it to pick from. And they're slated to be in here tomorrow for all the buildings. It's a quick sweep because they don't have to do 100% of the building until they've already done it. It's just verifying the open ones are still applicable, and if they happen to see any new ones, they'll add them to it. Our FY21 grant application requirements are changing. Excuse me, I got something in my throat here. I didn't get a soda or anything. Well, anyways, we're getting some of the changes, and we'll put them out in piecemeal, but we got some of them coming up a little later. We'll talk about the FY21 grant. But the bottom line is we're going to have to take it all with a grain of salt because things are changing. Miles per gallons for vehicles, gross weight of vehicles. We can buy EV cars with them now. There's a whole lot of stuff that's changing. And another thing that hasn't been verified yet is when we did our calculation that Lil did on MEI, we came out since the baseline year of 2011. Well, I'll just do it this way because Joan's rather new. We kind of came on board in 2015 because the people that initiated the baseline in 2011 were no longer around. So we had to do a lot of work to catch up, to recertify Granby as a green community. And in 2015, we found instead of decreasing the 20% that Mass DOER wanted, Granby had actually gone up 7%. In other words, they were using 7% more energy than their baseline year. So as of 2020, according to MEI, Granby has reduced its energy 27.4% since its baseline year. But in reality, if you add the other 7 they were over, we reduced it by 34.4. And we're waiting for Mass DOER to validate that figure, because once they validate that figure, once you get 20% reduction or more, you're eligible for more incentives. Now, those more incentives vary every year, excuse me, and with them, we have this coronavirus. We don't know what's going to happen totally, so we just have to play it by ear. But the first step of getting them updated by energy source will be done tomorrow, and then we'll get this green community stuff done on current grant. The plan is to get all the work done by 31 December. Then we'll dump all the paperwork over to Chris Martin to pay the bills, and we'll send an email to Jane Feister and Mark Rabinski to get it inspected and closed out, so we're eligible for FY21. Also with that, the Dufresne Park lights, we were discussing, because we have $10,000 administrative we're allowed to spend to support this program, but we can do an in-kind expense, which we've been doing, which is our own time. And traditionally, in the past, Chris has let us do other energy things for the town with any administrative money we had left over. Example, we did the dog pound in 2018, and we were talking about doing the lights at Dufresne Park. This year, the estimate was $12,000. We got $10,000 in administrative funds for this 2020 grant. We were $2,000 short, but then some trees came down on the pavilion, and the insurance company is going to pay for part of that repair. So we don't really know what the costs would be to do the pavilion now, because when they update Dufresne's pavilion, they should update it with energy efficient stuff, being a green community. So instead of us being short 2,000, we may have a little bit left over in the pot. That quick enough?
That'd be good.
Okay. MVP grant status. We're working one MVP grant now. MVP is Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness. I sent you an email today. There is going to be a webinar on the FY21 webinar, if anybody wants to get in on that. But right now, the only one we have open, we basically funded the planning board in the town to do their phase 4 stormwater permitting, which is required by DEP. And I believe that's supposed to be done by 31 December, Lil, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll have to get a readout from the planning board and Dave DeRocher and PVPC on how they're doing. They're gonna meet their goals on that. As far as the meta grants that we get, they are some coming open. We don't have a list yet, or we haven't developed a list of what we'd like to do. But the one that we just closed was from Catamus Group, which that study will justify putting solar on the fire department's roof. Okay, the only stipulation we got on that is it has to be looked at structurally, and it has to be looked at by the person who put it up, because he put a lifetime warranty on it, and if somebody else looks at it and verifies it, it'll void the warranty. So if we need something, it has, and then the company that did it's in Belchertown. As far as the electric department goes, well, I guess now is as good a time as any. I've been saying for the last 3 months that I would be done at the end of my term in the select board. When I finished my select board, I finished the energy committee and I finished the economic development committee. Been 3 months at least. I've been telling everybody in select board, town administrator, everybody that I will not be doing any more of this work after then. And nobody has stepped forward to pick up the work that I wouldn't be doing. As far as you people go, when they ask me your status, I tell them I'm only speaking for myself. The other people will have to let you know by themselves individually. I can tell you that Joe Shalou, Lenny Havleck, and Mark Vincelette will not be returning. So basically, everybody on this meeting today are the only ones left on the committee, because we do have a combination of 5 full-time and some alternates. But we're down to right now, us 4 people left. That's all that's left. So what we're gonna be doing here with the electric, Granby Municipal Utility, parentheses, electric department, we can do one of 2 things. I recommended transferring it to the Economic Development Committee because it's a way to make revenue for the town and save the residents money. Example is the town of Ashland opened an electric department. Ashland did not have an electric department, just like Granby does not have an electric department, because at that point in time, they did not generate electricity. Most of the people, and it's under Massachusetts general law, that if your community generates electricity, you can have an electric department, like South Hadley has an electric department, Holyoke has an electric department. Well, traditionally in the past, that has been done. Oh, we got a package from UPS. I'm surprised they're delivering to me. Just looked out the window at it. Oh, I lost my train of thought on that.
Ashland. Didn't
Oh,
have
yeah,
an elec-
yeah. Ashland opened their electric company and they can start, you can regulate electricity in your town. So in other words, like they go through the planning board, well, if we have electric department, they got to go through them as well. Ashland saved their residents $785,000 the first year, because they were able to negotiate the rates on a large scale versus individual households. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter to me if this town cuts my tax rate or they save me money and other things. As long as they put more money in my pocket, I'm happy. So I don't look at the different ways as being different. Again, if all of you want to stay on the energy committee, you're more than welcome to, and you can continue with it. But if it's not your intentions, I believe we should transfer this to Economic Development and Growth Committee.
I make,
Definitely.
Bob and I will probably not stay on,
And I
Okay?
won't either.
and Joan said she won't either, so.
Okay, then I will make a suggestion that email the town administrator that at the end of your current, and everybody here is on this committee until 30 June of 2021. I would recommend that you email the town administrator that you will continue working on the energy committee, but you do not want to be reappointed as of for the 30 June of 2021.
Okay,
Okay, and then it's up to them to act on it. They don't want to do nothing, the committee will just go away. If they get replacements, they'll get replacements.
so we don't need a motion to turn it over to the Economic Development?
Well, we can do that for formally turning it over to them, but I'm just basically saying that if nobody's here to mind the store, and this is a good way to save revenue for the community, we don't want to fall through the cracks.
Mhm.
So I think we should transfer it over to Economic Development.
So we need,
Sounds good.
I make a motion, that we transfer the Granby Municipal Electric Department to the Economic Development and Growth Committee.
Robert did that. Do we have a second?
I'll second that. Joan?
Okay. Any further discussion on that item? Okay, all in favor, say aye. What's your name, please?
Robert, I.
Lillian, I.
Joan, I.
And J.I. There's 4 ayes, unanimous. Now, Leo, do you think we should do a memo from the Energy Committee to Economic Development to formally in writing through the select board that we're recommending a change because we're not planning on continuing it, and that'll give the select board the opportunity, if they want to get out in a whole new crew for energy, they can keep it.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so we'll put that in writing to the select board. And we'll hold that, well, we're meeting with the economic development on the 22nd. Do you want to let economic development know on the 22nd or let them know in January? Because the select board will not be back until 4 January. They've canceled their meeting for next Monday.
Well, we can recommend it, but isn't it up to the select board to give it to the economic development?
Yes,
So
it is.
I wouldn't say anything. It would be up to the select board to assign it to them.
Okay, so in the memo, we'll recommend that the select board move that item over to the economic development.
Yes.
Okay. As far as the land acquisition, we had talked about Cooley Park, which we already own, the Green Meadow Lane, Sand Plains. That's basically gonna come down to the same thing. We were looking at putting solar fields out there, along with the 4 West State Street property, which has just come open. At the last select board meeting, I made a motion and it was unanimously approved that we're gonna transfer the 4 West Street property and the Sand Pines to the Land Use Committee. And it just happens that 2 of the land use committees are on the economic development. So, you think we should add that to the same memo, or it's covered enough already?
Well, they've already transferred it, right?
Right, to land use, so I would say it's out of our hands, we can just close it as an item on our list.
Yeah, vote to take it off the agenda.
Yep. That's what I was thinking, but I just wanted to leave it open to everybody, because I mean, everybody's allowed to their opinion, even Joan.
So Bob needs to do,
I make a motion
to take it off the agenda.
to take that off the agenda.
Take what off the agenda?
The transfer of the Cooley
No, no,
Park
no, to take the Cooley Park and
and Green Meadow line discussion,
off the agenda.
the agenda.
Yeah, that's all I wanted you to say what it was, not just saying off the agenda, yeah. When you make the motion, you have to say what the full motion is. So, do we have a second?
I, Joan, second that.
Okay, any further discussion on removing the Cooley Park and Green Meadow Lane Sand Plains State Park plan off the Energy Committee's agenda, since Select Board has already transferred it over to the Economic Land Use Committee? Again, Cooley Park has not been transferred because it's already owned by the town, but nobody wants to do much with it since I guess it's really infested with insects because it's close to the wetlands and stuff like that. Okay, the ECM master plan.
Wait a minute, we need to vote.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're right. Yeah. All in favor, say your name and what your vote is, please. All in favor, say aye.
Do it again.
I heard Robert.
Aye.
Lillian, I.
Joan, I.
Jay, so that was my fault, but that's closed now. Just trying to run through this as quick as I can here. I gotta go out and do cleaning some more snow. The ECM master plan. As far as the junior, senior high school, We'll address that when we address the FY21 Green Community application ECMs, because we'll have a report back from Energy Source, which ECMs are still applicable, and if they found any new ones. As far as the new library, I'm recommending that when we get to that portion, if things stay the way they are today with the limit on LED lighting by green communities, as was put out in the latest announcement, I would recommend that we do the HVAC at the new library for green communities and look for an alternate source to fund the LED lights in the junior, senior high school on the first floor, and also fund the library, the lights in the new library. That would be my recommendation. We don't have to do anything on it now. If you guys can think about it, because we're all have to come to a consensus if we do the FY21 application. And again, if we're going to be getting off this committee, it'll be up to us if we want to start anything new or not.
Okay,
We don't have to do it at all if we don't want to. Because we won't be around, to finish it.
Right, right.
See, that's the thing. So we can do all the work up into recommending to the select board what we would recommend for the FY21 Green Community application. But then we would reinstate to advise them, this is what we recommend being done for the application. And if you want us and we want to, we'll complete the application process, but we're not going to be around to see this fulfillment. And it'll be up to the select board to deal with it from there.
Right.
Okay, MEI report requirements, the vehicle policies 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We're going to postpone these updates from the communities until the new requirements are released from Mass DOR. Because why should we be writing new policy changes to the current plans and stuff if we have to turn around and do it again? And again, it's going to come up to us. Excuse me. Excuse me. Let me take a drink of water here. How much we want to do, because if the select board is not going to get people to replace us, does it make much sense to start writing all this stuff and updating it?
No.
no,
So maybe we should make a note for the, we'll get our notices into the select board and let them know for January that this committee will no longer be in existence at the end of this current fiscal year. And if they're not going to have anybody to take care of it, why should we do the work and writing stuff up? And let them make a decision.
Okay.
If they don't want to make a decision, then say, fine, leave it up to us. If we feel like doing it, we'll do it. If we don't feel like doing it, we won't. It'll be that simple. And my name is not going on any of it, because I won't be around to finish it. I wouldn't expect any of you to put your names on it as well, besides the recommendation to the select board. And the same thing goes for the energy reduction plan and all that. Again, it needs to be updated. There's no doubt about it. Last time the energy reduction plan was updated was the 24th of June of 2011. And a lot of stuff has changed since then. So it needs to be updated. But there's going to be nobody around to update it and enforce it. Why should we spend all our time updating it? And that's basically the way we'll make a note to tell it to the select board that way and let them make their decision. Most likely, as a select board member, I would say, well, go ahead and update them, and we're going to work on getting people to take your place. So it'll be a clean transfer. Whether they get somebody or not is to be determined. But I wouldn't lose the knowledgeable workforce in the interim if I had a choice. Okay, then we'll move on to our new business. which is basically Solar Block. We're in a partner with Solar Block on the junior, senior high school upgrades. There was a meeting there yesterday, which I attended, and the letter of intent has to be in by 4 January. They're going forward with it, but I'm going to tell the select board straight out. I did the last 2 meetings. Solar Block needs a commitment to allow to use the Granby Junior Senior High School to prototype the product and stuff. And we have nothing in writing to give them to do it. And Glenn just says, well, we'll have to get in touch with the school committee. Well, when is he going to get in touch with the school committee? I can't answer that. So it's time to either do your thing or get off the pot, as far as I'm concerned. And we'll make a mental note of that for January as well. You put that down on my notes right now before I forget it. Put 4 January beside it. You know, for me and my CRS.
Now, Jay is, this is Lil, is
Mhm.
select board going to meet before January 4th?
No. So we'll have to, that's when they'll be notified.
So it'll be after the fact.
Yeah.
So they can't get a letter of intent by January 4th.
That's correct.
So why does Solar Block need it by January 4th?
They have to file a letter of intent with the Department of Energy. They're going to proceed, but they're going to file their letter anyways. If Granby does not give them a letter, they're going to get another town and another school.
Okay,
It's not going to stop them.
okay.
It would just transfer it to another town, another school. Right now, they're keeping us in the loop, but if our people don't get off their hind ends and do their thing, it'll just move to somebody else.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we'll do that for January. That's for January. And you're gonna do that memo, Lil, as a draft?
Or which one? Of them?
To transfer the electric department on over to the economic development? Because the land and stuff is already taken care of. It's just the electric department that we really have to do. We'll draft that up. And if the committee here wants to give Lil and I permission, we will submit it on the 4th, unless we'll send it out for your review. But when you reply only to one person, which is being Lil. You reply all, you're breaking the open meeting laws. And if people are happy with it, Lil will know it and she'll let me know, and then we'll know what to present. How's that?
Okay.
And that way we
Okay.
don't have to worry about having another meeting between now and the 4th to review that. Because it is the holidays for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's the 4th of January 2021. Commitment to Solar Block. Okay. Okay. The review of the Green Community FY21 grant application. These are some of the items they've already put out in writing that have been changed. I sent around the circular that these changes, but for the public's knowledge, I'll read them out loud here. And we know a lot more is changing, but this is what is definitely in writing changing. They anticipate posting the announcement the end of January of 2021. They will also be accepting applications for the green community in 2 blocks. One in the spring and one in the fall. We do not know if you're going to be able to apply for both, or you only apply for one in a physical year, or you only can apply for one in every 2 years. Nobody knows all the details, except they're having 2 application periods you can input. The grant applications will not be made on a rolling basis. What that really means is they look at communities who haven't had a green community grant in a while, and because they haven't had one, they'll get one. Right now, the Baker-Polito administration, based upon our state's population, is #1 in the country in renewable energy. And based upon the state's population, they're #1 in the elimination or reduction of greenhouse gas emissions. And they want to stay #1. So the programs are going to become more competitive. And who is going to use more renewable energy and who's going to save more greenhouse gases are going to get these grants more. It's not going to be, well, Chicopee got one, but I haven't got one yet, so why is Chicopee getting another one? Chicopee be getting another one because they're doing Baker-Polito administration a favor in the competitive side, and they're doing better work. It'll all be strictly competitive. That makes sense to everybody? Everybody understand that?
Yep, Jay, we can't see you.
Oh, you can't?
No,
No.
there you
I
are.
sat back in my chair.
Yeah, well, if you're going to do that, you have to move your camera.
Okay. Either that or I'll just black my screen out. All it is my face anyways.
That's right.
Okay, as I stated before, the funding limits on interior lighting projects is going to be reduced. So the second floor we got at the junior senior high school this year, you will not get the full floor next year. That's why we started looking at some alternate means. I know you weren't here, Joan, but when we did the street lights in the town of Granby, we didn't use green community money. We went through National Grid. We used another program and we changed all the street lights to LED. Well, there are some other National Grid and other programs out there that are called performance contracts. These performance contracts are done this way. You in turn send your you work with your supplier like we work with Energy Source. You make out your application. You see what you have an open qualified energy conservation measures or ECMs. Then you can go to National Grid and say, hey, I want to do a performance contract on these open ECMs. In our particular case, we're only talking LED lights right now. They would come back and say, okay, if you want to do these ECMs, I will give you this amount of money of incentives to do this work. Okay, that comes off the top of the price of the bill. When they get a full list of the ECMs, they get the total cost of the projects. Just like when you see them on the spreadsheets, each is a line item with a total cost to do that line item. And when you add more than one line item, that's your project. Well, it's going to work pretty much the same way, except when you get the total cost of the project minus the incentives, they will look at you and say, okay, we will approve this performance contract for X amount of years. What they're saying is, if you go forward with this performance contract, we will guarantee you these energy savings the day you install these energy products. And how we are going to collect the money for these energy products, you are going to continue paying your same electric bill And but the difference of what you're saving is going to go to pay for the project. So hypothetically, for round numbers, let's say we're paying $1 million. No, that's too much. We'll say we're paying $100,000 a month in electric. And all of a sudden they say with these new projects, we're going to save you $20,000 a month in electric. So, and the total cost of your project could be $1 million. You're not restricted by limits now, like you are in Green Community. So if they're gonna save you $20,000 a month, so let me use my little calculator here so I can do it right, because I didn't do any of this, which maybe I should do before I do the select board. $20,000 a month times 12 months equal $240,000 a year. Okay, and we said our project is $1 million. So they take the $1 million, divide that by your savings of yearly savings of $240,000. Yep, wrong number here. And we will give you a performance contract for 4.16 years. Does that make sense to everybody? How they do that?
Yep.
They take your savings and they apply it towards the cost of the project.
So
And
it doesn't actually hand out any money.
that's correct. They're not giving, well, they are handing out money. They're giving you incentives to begin with. You know,
Right,
like
the town is not spending anything.
the town is spending it, but it's not like over and above the bills they have today. They continue paying their normal electric bills until the project is paid off. And then while this is paying it off, they're reaping the benefits of the energy reduction, but they just don't have the cost reduction yet. The cost reduction kicks in once the project is completely paid off. That's a performance contract. Now, these performance contracts can go out 20, 25 years.
Wow.
I just use these round numbers picking up. I mean, we can pick up any kind of numbers we want, because who says we're going to save $20,000 a month? Maybe we'll only save like $2,000 a month. So that would take it out like to 40 years. If it's got to go out to 40 years, they may have a cap on 25 years. So you'd have to pay them so much upfront in capital to get your payments down to the 25-year max. Am I getting you all confused?
No,
Okay. Again, without solid numbers in front of me, it's very hard to make up numbers and do this task.
Right.
But a performance contract is, they're going to guarantee you two things. They're going to guarantee if you do this project, you will save this amount of energy. And we will also, under the Mass Save program, we will give you a certain amount of money and incentives to cut off the top of your bill in front. The remainder of the bill will be paid through the performance contract. And you only have to pay us the amount of money that you're saving each month. But it'll probably be capped on 20 or 25 years. Now, you can line item pick out this performance contract however you see fit. Just like we line item pick out the ECMs we're putting on the green community application. The difference being the green community application has a maximum dollar value you can apply for. Well, the performance contract will have a maximum yearly payment factor. It worked differently. From what I understand, some cities and towns have gone into this, and they have some projects within their towns that have gone up to like over $30 million. And they're happy paying so much up in capital up front and paying so much a month off their bills to pay it off. Springfield is one, Uxbridge, Bridgewater. I've been given other cities and towns. And I assume Lil and Robert, I don't know if they have a problem, but they're not on screen no more.
Yeah. And their mic is off too.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna guess what's going on there. So did I explain that good enough, Lil, that you can put that into words for the meeting?
Yes, you did.
Okay. But it's very hard to do it without solid numbers in front of you. But that is what a performance contract is. Okay, and right now we're looking at two of them. One would be through Siemens and one would be through National Grid. And the paperwork I signed and put it in, but we have none of the criteria back yet. To be eligible for the spring block of applications for the FY21 grant community grants, all prior green community funds must be spent by February the 12th of 2021. The final grant reports must be submitted by February 26th of 2021. And the annual report for the FY 2020 must be submitted by November the 6th of 2020, which ours was submitted on, I believe it was November the 5th, no? The day before.
Yes.
And it's the Greens community people will review the annual report. If they get any questions, they come back to us, we give them answers, then eventually they'll get around to approving it. And when they approve it this time, they should approve it with our 20% or more reduction in energy usage. Okay, PBPC, report on impact of state-owned land pilot and solar taxation policies. On December the 10th, the state came out what they call their Smart 2 policies. Did I send everybody a copy of that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. If you look at that, what was it, 2 years ago we did, the planning board did the solar bylaws, and we end up amending every one of their bylaws because we told them that these changes were coming, and it wasn't in writing, they didn't believe us.
Right.
So it's luckily we had a lot of residents that were smart and listened to us, and they approved all the amendments we made to the planning board, because now everything that we told them is in writing and true. Basically, if the people had not approved those amendments we make, our planning board would be taxed with reviewing and implementing those into our current zoning bylaws now. To my knowledge, there's only one item, and I know Lil was checking on it to see if it was a valid item to be done that wasn't done.
Correct.
And if you read it, the state's version, if you go to page 45, it talks about the town of Granby in the moratorium on why we did it. Along with that, PVPC is putting out their guidebook to reflect December the 10th Smart 2 changes. I think they, overall, they did about a 90% good job. what troubles with me with Pioneer Valley's planning guidebook is they did a good job in explaining the problems you have with tax exempt and pilot programs, but they didn't address the moratorium issue and why you do a moratorium versus not doing a moratorium. If you do a moratorium, all your zoning bylaws stop. They are what they are until they go to public hearing, they go to special town meeting, people vote on them, then they go to the Attorney General office and come back. Once they come back from the Attorney General's office, those bylaws are in effect. And if any program had been started from the time the moratorium was announced and approved by the town and done, they have to meet those new requirements. Versus if you just did a bylaw change without having a moratorium, if the solar or the landowner did an A&R, which is approval not required, which basically means it meets all the town's bylaws, but to get the thing recorded in Hampshire County deeds, it has to have the stamp of our planning board. They are protected for any new bylaws for 3 years from the date the A&R is approved by the planning board. So every time Lil signs off on an A&R, the effective date of that A&R, they are not required to address any new bylaw for 3 years. And what happens at the end of 3 years? If they don't do anything new, they come what's called,
Grandfathered?
well, they use another word besides that. It's a pre-existing non-conformance.
Right.
So basically, that's a big difference in that. And if I was a town following PVPC guidelines, doing everything they say in that guidebook, spending the money on public hearings, doing all these special town meetings, having the votes, going to the Attorney General and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, some landowner or solar developer comes up to me and says, oh, those are nice, but I got an A&R, I'm protected for 3 years. I don't have to follow it. And if you subdivided a parcel, which means you had to have the planning board review and approve the changes because they were not approval not required, they're protected for 8 years. So Belchertown's going through that now. All the work that they did on their solar bylaws without a moratorium, these solar developers got very smart lawyers. They were dumping all these A&Rs and subdivisions on their planning board's desk. And they can do that up until the day of the start of the special town meeting with the article for the moratorium on it. And as long as they submit it to the town, they're protected for 3 or 8 years from anything that is approved. I mean, I don't think, I think they should add some clarification to the Pioneer Valley planning, because I say, if I was a town and spending all my money to do that stuff, and I did it, and then I got slapped in the face like that, I think I'd be a little ticked.
Mhm.
So I'm going to let Catherine Rattay know about that. They can do what they want, because our planning board in our town is free to go to any planning agency we want. We don't have to go to PVPC. We just choose to because we have a good working relationship with them. But something like that, if somebody did that to me, that would not lead to a good working relationship. I did what you said and I got slapped in the face. I'm gonna use another word, but I won't.
Mhm.
Okay, the alternate measures to complete the LED lights, I did already talk about. And our old business is new committee members and search ongoing. We're always doing that. Does anybody have any questions that, what we talked about, all right, they want to go over again, they're not clear about?
No,
Nope.
Nope.
Does anybody individually want to have anything they'd like to bring up?
no,
Nope.
Okay, if that's the case, the only action items are here is for individuals to let the select board know their intentions. And we have one draft letter, which Lil will get out about the electric company, transfer to the Economic Development Committee, and I will handle the solar block on the 4 January notification of intent. And other than that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
and make a motion, we adjourn.
I second that, Joan.
Are we gonna go over to Joan's house? Hey, hearing any more discussion about the adjournment? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye with your name, please.
Robert, aye.
Lillian, I.
Joan, I.
And Jay, aye. I wish everybody a happy holiday
Yeah.
and hope things work out good with this COVID-19 vaccine that we